Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Martha Seelman, the Executive Director of Studio Art Quilt Associates, otherwise known by our acronym SAQA or SAQA. We're delighted to see so many of you joining us today. We have a really special program for you. But before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that SAQA is running the final week of our trunk show art sale. These are small pieces, about 10 inches by 7 inches or 25 by 17 centimeters. They're mounted on a black board and sealed inside a clear envelope. We have to wait for the computer to catch up to show you some more of the art. The last time we did one of these sales, about 3 years ago, I purchased 3 pieces and then had them mounted together in a frame, and it hangs over our fireplace. And they're just beautiful. I enjoy them every day. Most of these pieces are priced under $200, so they're very affordable, and they're just wonderful small artworks. Your purchase helps to support SAQA and our programming and our exhibitions programs. So I hope that you will go and check out what's happening at saqa.com. Now, I would like to introduce you to Dawne Hoeg. Dawne lives in Buffalo, New York, where it is still pretty gray and cold at the tail end of winter there. Because they're near the Great Lakes, winter tends to just hang on and hang on. But about 10 years ago, Dawne realized that there were a lot of refugee immigrants who were settling in the Buffalo area, and she wanted to do something to help them. And she started by just having a meetup to share embroidery. And it's just grown and grown and grown, and it's become this wonderful community service where around 200 refugee women every year receive training, tools, materials. They earn money to help support their families as they're getting started again in their new home, and they have a safe place to meet up in their new community of Buffalo, New York. We're really excited to be able to share with you this Stitch Buffalo program and to hear from Dawne how her concern for others has grown into this very robust, wonderful program. So Dawne, we're going to turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Martha and Lucy. Good afternoon, everyone, and greetings from Buffalo, New York, yes, we are very much still in winter here. I'm going to share my screen to get us started. Oh, hold on. Bear with me. There you go. Here we are. Okay, welcome to Stitch Buffalo. I'm going to take you through the story of how it began in 2014, which is 11 years ago. We began in a rented community space here in the city, on the west side of the city, with free embroidery workshops where we would set up all of the embroidery supplies, invite women to join us from the 4 resettlement agencies that are here in Buffalo, New York, and they could come and learn skills as well as share skills. They could take supplies for free. And this is how we got started, by meeting up once a week in a borrowed community space. This is a small group on the left, and on the right is just the beginning classes. And we always had this circle sampler to show basic embroidery stitches as we began. To help the refugee women earn money through their skills, we began selling our signature Buffalo of Heart pins at art fairs and pop-ups. This pin was developed in collaboration with the International Institute of Buffalo here in Buffalo. It's the #1 resettlement agency that we have. And the idea was to really wear something on your sleeve to show that we are the city of good neighbors in all our welcome. This was in 2014 that this project began. In 2017, we moved into our first real home where we had a small retail space. And then in the back was an apartment that we turned into studio space. You'll see on the left-hand side, this wooden wall. That was an old refrigerator cooler that stored a lot of our supplies at the time when we moved in. It was an old butcher shop at one time, and the space was donated by a local company for free for 5 years. This gave us the opportunity to build a solid foundation for what was first the only program, which was the Refugee Women's Workshop. This is the retail space at that location. You can start to see some of the products that are entirely handmade by the women that we work with at Stitch Buffalo. By 2023, we had outgrown the small space and we launched a capital campaign to renovate a new space for our store in studio. So this is the back room in the old butcher shop, which you just saw. And this is an embroidery class that was open to the community. So we have a real mix of community joining us, and they're working on what we call SIR's sampler. SIR is a woman that has been with Stitch Buffalo since the beginning, an impeccable embroiderer. So in 2024, just almost a year now, we reopened in this new location. And so this is where we're currently located. The space is about 300% larger space than where we came from. This is the floor plan that we are currently occupying, where you enter in here into our retail space and work your way back to the sewing and weaving studio as well as the dye studio. What we have now, which was missing from our location, is this huge community table and kitchenette. This is really the heart and soul of the organization, and where we can meet up with whoever's coming in and figure out where we can help direct in whatever way is possible. So we have this wonderful large table here, which you'll see a little bit more of. I'm going to share a video with you now that will take you through our space to give you an idea.
Stitch Buffalo is a nonprofit textile arts center located in the heart of Buffalo's West Side. Our studios and retail boutique are housed together at 284 Plymouth Avenue. We've made creative reuse of a former factory that sat vacant for decades. Today, it is a vibrant retail shop and bustling community art center, serving our diverse neighborhood, the Western New York region, and all points beyond. Our facility is fully ADA compliant and wheelchair accessible. Visitors are invited to explore bold, colorful goods created by refugee women artists living in Western New York. Community members also have access to an ever-changing selection of textile art supplies in our second Stitch shop. Most days, our on-site studios are bustling with members of the Refugee Women's Workshop. Our large community table is host to community classes, events, staff and board meetings, countless projects, and research using our extensive textile library. Our sewing and weaving studios are nearly always buzzing with the sounds of artists at work, especially seamstresses who complete custom projects and tailoring, as well as small-scale manufacturing jobs. Most materials used in products made in the Refugee Women's Workshop, as well as those used in our community classes, come as donations from individual, community, and business donors. Materials are organized and stored on site. Our wet studio is outfitted with 3 large sink bays, stainless steel tables, and plenty of storage and space for projects like block printing and natural dyeing. The wet studio hosts many classes, including our Textile Arts Camp for children ages 8 to 14. We moved into our space at 284 Plymouth Avenue in March of 2024, and it's remarkable how quickly our new headquarters has become home. We're grateful for the community who supported us along the way and who have embraced us in our new expanded location. We would be honored to have you visit Stitch Buffalo. Stitch Buffalo is a nonprofit textile art.
Okay, so that gives you an idea of where we began in 2014 to where we are now in our new location. So far, you've understand that we have the Refugee Women's Workshop as our main program. We also have 2 other programs that make up all of Stitch Buffalo. And so we have our Second Stitch work program that stewards the environment through the reuse of donated textile arts supplies, as well as our community classes that are open to anybody to join. So Stitch Buffalo is now a comprehensive textile arts center that houses these 3 programs in the same location. Our vision is stitching communities together. This was a celebration at the very beginning of when we moved into our space. And here are our 3 programs. I'll talk about each one separately to give you a real behind the scenes look at what encompasses each program. Refugee Women's Workshop, the community classes, and our Second Stitch program. So at the Refugee Women's Workshop, it is a thriving community of women artists from Bhutan, Burma, Nepal, Thailand, Egypt, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Somali, Peru, and beyond. These women find us through whether it's their caseworker and the resettlement agency that they have come through, or through their community within Buffalo that they are connected with. And a lot travels by word of mouth through the different communities. So that's how women find us and come to Stitch Buffalo, make their way to coming through our doors. This small but meaningful creative, personal, and economic empowerment infuses each woman, her family, and her community. This is Tika here. On the left, we have Sergey, who is a weaver from Myanmar, and she's weaving on a backstrap loom that's a little bit dialed in for this exhibit that it's part of. And then on the right is Zozi from the Congo, who is one of our main seamstresses. Through the creation of handcrafted textiles, each artist nurtures her heritage and affirms her self-worth as a woman and a human being. Members from the Refugee Women's Workshop receive all their tools, supplies, and training at no cost. Each artist freely selects their own products that they would like to make for that week. So we have some women that come every week. We have women that come twice a week. We have women that come once a month or every other month. So they can come whenever they are able to get to Stitch Buffalo. They choose which products are available for that time. Products are always rotating depending on supply, as well as special projects that we'll be working on. What you'll notice here is that in this elephant ornament, there are 4 different elephants. That is the artist's own personal artistic expression with the embroidery and beading skills that they have. So this is another example of sweatshirts that we also carry here. You can see the variety of different styles and different stitches, different colors used. That is all the responsibility of the woman and what she chooses to share and what her personal expression is. Artists can pick up new supplies and drop off their completed work anytime we are open. This flexibility makes our programs accessible to mothers and other women with complex schedules. And I will say that I believe that the flexibility in the Refugee Women's Workshop is why it is so successful and why we have so many people participate in it, is because women can come and go whenever it suits their schedules on a week-to-week basis, month-to-month, day-to-day, however it works best for them. Best of all, Stitch Buffalo is a place where refugee women find a sense of belonging. They gather to create and connect in a warm, welcoming space, and collaborating here with staff and volunteers, as well as community members, and they feel welcomed and valued in their new home. On the left is Saraswati, Tika, and Tila. They're all from Bhutan. And on the right is myself and Sana. Sana is a new participant here at Stitch Buffalo, and she brings her older sister and her mom along with her. This is a birthday celebration this is an everyday occurrence here. We have women from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Burma, and Bhutan in this photo, in the Congo in this photo. And this is a really great snapshot of just what happens here on a daily basis. The products that are created are sold on consignment. So every woman that is part of the Refugee Women's Workshop has an account in our point of sale system. And everything in the shop is sold on consignment. The split for every product is 60% to 40%. 60% goes to the woman that made it, 40% rolls back into Stitch Buffalo overhead. That changes depending on if the design is the woman's own design or her own materials. We have the flexibility within our point of sale system to change if it's 70-30, 80-20, 90-10. So that's how the women are paid, primarily is through the point of sale on the consignment basis. Products sell in our store, on our website, through wholesale partners, and through special projects that we take on from various companies and organizations. This is a great example of a custom order that we have done for a couple local gift shops. It's our blue and white peace dove ornament that you can see the variation of design here as well. So if somebody were to order 50 piece dove ornaments, this is the collection that they would receive. Similar but very different. Here's Palwa Shah on the left, and she is another one of our main seamstresses here. She made this dress from a sketch. So this woman is a customer. She brought a sketch of this dress she really wanted to have made, and this piece of fabric, and how she wanted the colors on the fabric to create the dress, and Palwa Shah was able to create that for her. On the right are some embroidered Converse shoes that we have done as special projects for customers as well. City of Good Neighbors is for the International Institute. This is a pin. We did pins for them as they were launching their Good Neighbor Society. And on the right, we did a collection of backstrap loom pillow covers for a local company. This is another collection of some special orders that you have some heart ornaments on the left, and then a special ornament design on the right. We do a lot of denim jackets. Some people bring in their designs to have us embroider them, which is what is on the left. And then on the right is an example of Sarai Pa's embroidery work, where she created this denim jacket for sale on consignment. We also do large-scale commission artwork. I try to have one large-scale installation in one of the local organizations here. And so we've been at the Buffalo History Museum. This is at the Birchfield Penny. This is a 10-foot peace symbol made up of, I think these are three inches each, these smaller 3-inch piece symbols, each one, as each piece symbol is embroidered and beaded. You can see the collection on the left, and then this is at full scale on the right. We also have done a series of social justice stitched stories with the refugee women as well as the community at large, where social justice issues are discussed, and then through embroidery, applique, stenciling, we create these poster size hangings that have very strong messages in them, and as a collection are quite powerful. This is our exhibit at the Buffalo History Museum back in 2022. This was an opportunity for Stitch Buffalo to really highlight and elevate the work that we do at the Refugee Women's Workshop. Beyond just pins and ornaments, we really wanted to show what skills we really had and wanted to share with the community. So we had backstrap loom weaving set up, and then a whole wall of different styles of embroidery, and then some jewelry as well. And then this is at the Buffalo Erie County Botanical Gardens. There's about 150 birds in the central dome of the Botanical Gardens, and these birds are made from recycled sari silk. That's fused to felt that is also repurposed felt from a local company here. And then each bird is hand stitched and constructed, and then we suspended them from the ceiling. This is an exhibit we did at the Castellani Museum up in Niagara Falls, Old Thread, New Threads. And we're going back to the Botanical Gardens. Next week, I'll install a new exhibit. So if you're coming to Buffalo, please make sure you visit the Botanical Gardens, because we'll have a new exhibit going there. So every year I try to get a connection to another larger organization to include the refugee population in these landmarks that might not otherwise be accessible to them. Our second program are community classes, and this is, I go out on site to different community centers, and this happens to be a community center. We created this 8-foot square quilt that's in the background here, first by drawing, then by hand painting with textile ink and block printing, and then we did some embroidery, and then we actually quilted it and hung it. And so community classes happen off-site in the city of Buffalo as well as on-site in our new location. And we teach everything from block printing, that's what's happening on the left, to macrame bracelet making. We bring the textile arts and continue that education for people of all ages and skill levels. This is an embroidery workshop here that is most often taught by one of the refugee women that participates in the Refugee Women's Workshop. So we have a couple women that will teach this class of about 10 people on a Saturday morning. And this is Embroidery 101. Here's just a couple examples of, this is Sir here teaching embroidery offsite. This is our summer camp here teaching sewing. And then this is an eco dyeing class in our wet room in our new location. When students can't come to us, we go out and meet them off-site. So this is at a local university, working with a group, making some garlands, and then the community center on the right. And this is out at Providence Farm Collective, which is a wonderful farm with shared farmland for folks that live in the city and different cultural groups to have plots of land to grow their native vegetables. And so I went out and did an indigo resist dye workshop with all of their teens. Here's our third program. So, excuse me, it's our second stitch program. And Second Stitch is our sustainability program designed to give new life to donated supplies from community artists, crafters, and businesses. And this is our sorting space here, where we receive donations and we weigh them as we receive them, and then we sort through them with a team of volunteers. This is sorting here, and you can see these bins in the back, and this is where we store some of the surplus of materials, as well as I'll show you our shop in a minute, but these are, we get everything from fabrics, yarns, sewing machines, all the tools and supplies, the needles, the thread, and it's organized into our now Second Stitch retail space. And so when we get the donations, we pull whatever we can use for the Refugee Women's Workshop. And then from there, we pull whatever we can use for our community classes and any special projects we may have going on. And then the rest of it, we turn back to the community at a discounted price. So this is some of the selection of fabrics that are available, and that's always rotating on the donations we receive. All the sales from Second Stitch go into supporting the Stitch Buffalo programs. This is our Second Stitch manager here. Her name is Whitney. Second Stitch ensures our products and classes operate with sustainability in mind, reduces supply costs to keep products and services affordable, and it improves community access to textile art supplies. So this is a really interesting note on the bottom. The only other fabric yarn store that are located are hard to access in the suburbs. So we do not have a fabric store or a craft store in the city of Buffalo. You have to leave Buffalo, drive to a suburb to access supplies. So we're valued in the community with our Second Stitch program and are hoping to grow that even a little bit more. Our values here at Stitch Buffalo that each of these three programs represents is community building, so bringing people together through the textile arts, empowerment, maintaining a welcoming environment that fosters fair and equitable opportunity and self-expression, trust, forging an inclusive and trustworthy space where each individual's cultural traditions and lived experiences can be expressed and preserved, passion, working, learning, and celebrating together in pursuit of innovation and personal expression, and environmental stewardship, reducing waste by keeping useful materials out of landfills and in the hands of creative people. And so these 5 values really help us focus in our daily work. And as we're developing new programs or thinking about new projects, those 5 values are our guiding star to the organization. Stitch Buffalo is unique because of our focus on the textile arts in traditional, contemporary, and locally handmade crafts, plus unique products and customer services. We're an inclusive and diverse, trustworthy space where people can gather and create regardless of their differences. Service to local refugee and immigrant women, support for creative processes through mentorship, education, and economic opportunities, and sustainability, affordable community access to curated selection of recycled textile tools and materials. So every year we work and serve with over 200 refugee women and their families that receive supplies and training, from us. We have 2,000 community members that participate in our classes and workshops on-site and off-site. We have surpassed our 20,000 pounds of textile arts supplies that are rescued from reuse. And we have an incredible group of volunteers that have over 6,000 hours of service that they have contributed that come from all ages and backgrounds. The world is here. This is our community table with our kitchenette. This slide won us $25,000 in our capital campaign to renovate this space. And It's just really one of the most beautiful parts of every time I look at this slide, I'm like, yeah, this is amazing because we have all of these women that come on a weekly basis to participate that we can help support through the textile arts here. Who we are. So Palwa Shah is on the left from Afghanistan, and Tila is on the right from Bhutan. Palwa Shah is one of the main seamstresses here. She's a trained tailor from Afghanistan. She also can do embroidery, and she was selected to be part of the Uplift Makers program through Nest and was chosen to be one of the collaborators within the, what was his name, John?
John Legend.
John Legend, sorry, not my music. And then Alex here is a local fashion designer, and he comes weekly with his various fashions, and Palwa Shah is one of the main seamstresses that sews his collection for him. Deo Kami is from Burma, and she's been with Stitch ever since 2014 when we were a small workshop, and she does embroidery with beads. Serhei Mu is the backstrap loom weaver. Captain, if you will, she has very intricate patterns, and she is like the main force behind the backstrap loom weaving and teaches different patterns to other women. Hiran is from India, and she has a unique style on her own, and she also shares it through her henna art as well when we have events. Zargona is from Afghanistan and is now one of the main seamstresses that comes weekly. She doesn't do so much embroidery anymore. She does a lot more sewing. This is Sarepa from Myanmar. You've seen some of her embroidery throughout the slideshow here, and she's here. She also did this special commission project for this individual. This is all hand embroidered, and we designed the jean jacket and the denim pants, and she embroidered the entire outfit. This is Mumu. Mumu does crochet as well as embroidery. Yamuna, she is Burmese, and she does these pom-pom garlands as well as primarily beaded work. Mara's from Ecuador. She does amazing beaded jewelry. She also is a teacher here and teaches how to make bracelets and earrings. Claudia is from the Congo. She does machine sewing when she can. Danan is embroiderer from Burma. Rosita is from Peru and just has an exquisite sense of design. Kong is amazing. She does everything from embroidery to sewing. She makes all these wonderful creatures. And this is Kong back when we were in our old space, and she received her first paycheck at the age of 72 from Stitch Buffalo. This is Bina. Sui's from Myanmar. Judith from Burma. We did these special edition clutch bags with the Albright Knox Museum. This is a remnant of a woven textile that is an installation in their new renovation, and they had a remnant of this material that they hired us to design and make these clutches, including the fringe from the woven material. It's really a great project for us to do. That was Judith. Judith is here. She's one of our main repair and menders, as well as an embroidery teacher. Tika is from Burma, and she does embroidery, and she likes to make these macrame beaded bracelets. Dajan from Burma. Tiela's from Bhutan. This is Teela here. She was with me when we won the pitch 10 for the community space, which is the slide I showed you with the women sitting around the world. And she came and received the award with me. And she made this sign, Creative Journeys, for our exhibit at the Buffalo History Museum. Munevra Sultana from Pakistan. She is now here in Buffalo, and this is Ajak block printing. She revived the block printing and natural dyeing process in Pakistan, and she is now living in Buffalo, and we are helping her keep her business going. She also does some sewing, and she was doing some sewing for this young fashion designer here and had the opportunity to do Daytime Buffalo story. We also do some small scale manufacturing, which is these with the Water Buffalo Club 716, that these are these furry hats with horns here. You can see if you look up Water Buffalo Club 716, we make these hats. The three, Paulawisha, Muna, and Kong, make these hats, and we got to go to our first Buffalo Bills game this past fall. This is a picture of us attending that game. What's ahead? Every year the need grows. Refugee women face increased scrutiny, reduced support, and an uncertain future. Arts education budgets in public schools are declining, and 11 million tons of textiles are landfilled each year. How we're helping in 2025 now, especially now that we have more space, we provide more textile arts training and mentorships programs for refugee women. This is women getting new sewing machines here. So we take the sewing machines in, we fix them, we tune them up, and then we give them back to the refugee community. But when a woman receives a sewing machine, she has to take a sewing lesson for at least 2 hours. And so it's a timely process, but it's important for them to learn. We believe that it's important for them to learn how to use the machine that they're receiving before they take it. So that's part of a training program that we have going. Here, we're expanding our events to build community support, wellness, and shared skills. So we really are able to open up our space and share it with fashion designers. Here, this was a greeting card workshop for community to make greeting cards for the psych ward in our local hospitals. And so we also work with Starlight Studios. So we help support other nonprofit organizations that may not have access to this kind of space. And if it's open, we share it. And then fortifying robust ways to keep useful supplies out of the landfills. How you can help? You could donate. You could visit our website. We just launched our Stitch Sustainers monthly giving program. That would be one way you could check that out. You can shop. We have an e-commerce site on our website, and you can engage. If you're ever in Buffalo, please come in, and be happy to have you volunteer if you would like to come on in and do that. Skip over those. This is our shop here, if you've seen. Like and share our social media posts. We have Instagram and Facebook. We have a wonderful newsletter that comes out once a month, and it really tells the story of what has happened at Stitch Buffalo in the prior month. And it's quite beautiful. I think it's uplifting, and it really makes people happy. So that's always a fun thing to get in your email. And please share our story with a friend. We believe that together we can provide the opportunities and inclusion every woman should have access to wherever she is from. And that is my presentation here from Buffalo, New York, sharing with you Stitch Buffalo.
Well, the entire presentation was inspiring, and the comments that we've been receiving really reflect that. So the biggest question that's come up over and over again is, Will you accept donations if they're shipped to you? And should they be shipped to your main location?
Yes.
Okay. So all of you out there who are looking for a good home for the things you have lovingly accumulated in your stash, this is a very worthwhile way to find a good home for the things that you're not currently using. So, Lucy just posted their address in the chat, and you can also, of course, go to their website and get the address. I wanted to go back to, how did you have this idea? What triggered you to start offering embroidery classes for refugee women?
Yeah, so I have always run workshops, creative workshops. I've been in my master's degree program with a master's of fine arts and textile arts, as well as in education. I've always worked with groups of people, and also with my textile history knowledge, when I found myself in the city of Buffalo. I'm not from Buffalo, and now I feel like I am. I've been here 20 years, but when I first was here in 2007, I started a job at Buffalo State College, and that's when I really started to integrate into the city. And then with the knowledge of textile history, every country, every village has a textile tradition, like whether it's ceremonial garments that they're making or garments for everyday use. And so with that, in my commute within Buffalo, I knew that there was a community of women here that possessed skills that they could share with the community. And it would be a wonderful way to start to bridge different communities together, like mine being in academia at Buffalo State College, and then with theirs, with the country that they were from. And so it was this idea to bring women together to share our knowledge in textiles, but also to share in community. And it was never my intention to start a nonprofit organization, but man, it just like those workshops just filled the room. And so it was really like, okay, this is needed, and the talent is here, and how can I help? And so that's what the journey's been.
What are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced in this 10 years of growth?
It's been fast in figuring out what really works, because there's barriers, there's transportation, there's language, there was space barriers. There are all these, but nothing that you couldn't figure out. It was just a matter of finding the right person to talk to, and really just kind of keep pushing forward. And so those are some of the smaller barriers. I am not a finance accountant in any way, shape, or form, and so my lovely finance accountant is in the room, in the office with us now. And so really finding somebody to be able to navigate our finances was a huge obstacle for me, just because it's not my wheelhouse. And so making sure that I could get the right people in the right places to keep us moving forward.
Yeah. How many paid staff do you have versus how many volunteers are you working with?
So paid staff is 4 full-time and 4 part-time. And volunteers, we have, I think, upwards of 70 volunteers. We have, every time we're open, we have 3 volunteers in the morning and 3 volunteers in the afternoon.
And
Yeah.
it seems like you keep expanding and expanding and expanding the things that you're doing. Are there projects that you have to say no to? And what constitutes whether you're going to accept a project or not?
Well, I'm one of those people that says yes to everything. And I just keep saying yes and yes. It doesn't mean that everything works out. It means that I'm willing to collaborate and work back and forth with people. And if saying yes to a meeting means having another meeting, means you need a prototype, means like, and we just work that way. And sometimes it doesn't work out for one reason or another, and sometimes it does, but I always say yes first, just to see what's possible, because you never know. You never know who's before you and what the potential is.
And there have been some comments about people who have been inspired by your presentation to think about whether they could do this in their communities. So what is your advice to somebody who wants to try starting something similar?
My advice would be to start small, start simple. I mean, I started with embroidery, not because I am a master in embroidery. It's because the supplies are really easy to transport. You're not lugging machines, you're not rolling up backstrap looms. You've got so much potential in a little suitcase. And so that's why I started with embroidery. And so I would say start small, and you have to do some legwork. It's not just sending an email, it's showing up in person, it's inviting, it's being very human and personal, and really building that trust that you are here to help. And that I can't emphasize enough. It has to be in person. A phone call and email only works if you're maybe it will work if you're in the same language, in the same country, have the same practices. Like, that only goes so far.
Mm-hmm. And sort of as a slight follow-up to that, there's a question about, do you find that sometimes there's a tendency to get involved with some of the other challenges that refugees face in terms of finding housing and food and education? How do you stay in your lane so that
Yeah.
you don't try to take on too much?
Yeah, I learned that lesson early on when I started, because there's a lot of need everywhere. And so, um, and there's too many people to help. And so I stay in my lane, offering what I know I can do. And if there's a volunteer that wants to help in a different way, then that's their work, the volunteer and the women or the family. And and I make that clear, like this is not related to Stitch Buffalo. This person has offered to help you to do this. And so it's very clear for me now. It wasn't at the beginning. I would try to help, but there's just too many people to be able to do that. So volunteers step in and help. If I know somebody really needs something and I know that I can't get involved, I might reach out to a volunteer on the side and say, can you help so and so? They need they need something.
I've
So
got
direct.
two final logistics questions.
Mhm.
One is, all of your photos show women. Do you also have men who are doing stitches in various ways?
No, we don't.
Ah,
And it's not it's not because we don't like men. It's just that I have tried 3 times. The third time was a confirmation that this just doesn't work, because we have too many different religions and too many different traditions between men and women and cultures, and it just is so much easier because women from around the world, at least in here, all get along. And when you start to introduce different genders, and it gets a little bit more complicated. And so I have, after my third try, decided that we're only women doing stitches.
Well, there you go. And
We have men that take the community classes and the
Mhm.
sewing classes, and it flows that way, and it works just fine.
And then this is a fairly technical question. Where, by percentage, does your funding come from? I know some of it obviously is from your second, your recycling program. Where else are you getting your funding from?
Right. So Stitch Buffalo has the 3 programs. Each program has a funding stream to it. So we do, as a nonprofit, excuse me, we actually do make a fair amount of money through those 3 streams of revenue. We also apply for grants for specific projects. And those grants are usually local foundations or corporations. We have also private individual donors as well. And so we do not receive any federal money, never have. And so we are pretty much a strong local organization for the most part.
Well, thank you so much. There are just so many comments saying how inspirational this has been, what a beautiful organization. I'm sure a lot of the audience watching today is going to be shipping you donations, hopefully checking out your website and maybe purchasing some of the items that are available for sale. And hopefully some of the people watching will be inspired to try to attempt something in their communities to help others who are arriving in this country with needing help to learn how to fit into their new communities. But thank you, Dawn. You really have been an inspiration to us all.
Thank you for having me. And if anybody endeavors to reach into their community, I'm always here as a resource. I'd love to share what I've learned.
Thank you so much. And
Thank
thank
you.
you, everybody, for listening. Please join us again next week for another inspirational textile talk.